11 months and a few days ago, I published a video about 10 upgrades in Paris to watch during the summer of 2023, all set to last between a few weeks to several months. Well, it's been a few weeks to several months, and today I'm going to go and check out 9 of these upgrades and see how well they turned out. Bonjour, bonsoir, wherever you are. If it's your first time here, welcome to Urban Tracks. I post videos about cycling, transit and urban stuff in the Paris region every week, every now and then, so subscribe to the channel and my socials if you want to see more. Our first upgrade is right at the center of Paris and goes from Châtelet to Saint-Michel, two busy areas in traffic and recreation. It consists of one two-way path on the western side of the road on about 600 meters. This extension was only half finished when I filmed, and today the path is fully opened in both directions. For a few months, this section on Saint-Michel Bridge was closed due to massive potholes forming on the surface, forcing cyclists to share the bus lane. Something tells me it's going to happen again. I also had concerns about the left turn coming from the bridge, but it's now easier with this offset traffic light that lets cyclists wait safely. Another area has something similar for when you need to turn to the right. Access to the rest of Saint-Michel Square has also been simplified with its two separate paths, one leading to Boulevard Saint-Michel and the other to a more pedestrian and touristic neighborhood. This gives plenty of space for all users to clearly see each other before committing to a turn. Buses and cars coming from the bridge can go straight without crossing the flow of cycles with this wide area in the middle. Let's continue south to Boulevard Saint-Michel, the border between the 5th and the 6th arrondissement. Saint-Michel, and more broadly Saint-Germain and the Quartier Latin, is residential, commercial and touristic, with a few universities in the middle. The path was at the early stages of construction when I first filmed here, but thanks to the complete redesign over last summer, it now looks like this. We follow the same protected two-way path on the west side of the boulevard on a distance of 1.6 kilometers. Enough space remains to allow for ample parking spots for deliveries. On some locations, the path takes a decent chunk of space in this formerly chaotic roundabout near the Panthéon.
Nice fountain you got here.
I'm already seeing this square reclaimed for pedestrians in the future. Bike parking is very present alongside the boulevard, and there are even special spots for cargo bikes. Finally, former bus stops have all been converted into step-free floating stops.
A birdhouse at the top.
In conclusion, a successful delivery. Avenue du Général Leclerc goes from Place d'Enfer Rochereau to the city limit at Porte d'Orléans. The path here consists of a single lane going north to south. The opposite side is a shared bus lane. Honestly, it's a little bit disappointing. The other newish feature is this circular path at the intersection with Rue d'Alésia that makes crossing sort of safe, but incredibly long. It might just be simpler to stay on the road like these people. Overall, a necessary upgrade, but it could have gone further.
Alright, yeah, pretty nice. Yeah, I remember we were only able to ride on the left side, but now there are two paths on each side of the street. It is great. Even the temperature is great because it's under the trees.
The northern part of Avenue de Choisy now features two very comfortable paths on each side of the avenue. They're separated from cars with low-level separators under two rows of tall trees. At the intersection with Rue Tolbiac, Avenue d'Ivry and Avenue de Choisy is a little pedestrianized plaza. This is where the path splits in two, both going south but in slightly different directions. They were given a different color to stand out a little bit. I had already explored this path in this video, but this time I chose to go right. The rest of the path is on the left side of the road, with very narrow spots at every crossing. I completely understand the intent to slow down cyclists, but this is a little bit much, and it doesn't feel safe at all. You would think the same would be done for car drivers, but no. And it really doesn't help that the low level of separators actually allows for cars to park here. Thankfully, I was able to see a fair bit of bike parking all along the avenue. Finally, when reaching the end of the avenue, the connection with Porte de Choisy is pretty dodgy for now. The traffic lights weren't properly set when I was here, making it a bit confusing, and then the path seems to indicate to go mingle with pedestrians near a very busy tram stop.
And I guess I need to turn left right now.
So a few things to work on, but the path is still okay. This 3.5 kilometer long street is one of the longest of Paris and crosses through the 12th arrondissement in the southeast. A series of partial upgrades were necessary to completely redesign the street to make space for cyclists and calm traffic with a variety of modal filters, like this section where cars can't go, or transform roundabouts to limit shortcuts like here, and reorganizing the local traffic scheme and make it less interesting for motor vehicles. The northern half is now a bike street or Fietsstraat. We'll see after a few months if car traffic has been reduced. Like in most redesigns, a lot was done in adjacent streets and neighborhoods. If you'd like a full video on the street, tell me in the comment section because there's just so much to talk about. Otherwise, you can watch these videos where I follow the progressive transformation of this street. One thing I wanted to quickly focus on today was the square formed at the intersection of Rue de Charenton and Boulevard de Reuilly. Sometime in 2023, the entrance of these two streets were closed to cars and filled in order to create a large pedestrian plaza. Well, the same was done this year on the other side, and now look.
I remember this was a street that used to come from here until here.
Small metal signs were hammered into the floor to guide cyclists, but they're very small. Overall, a great success.
C'est pas vrai! Mais incroyable quoi! Purée!
2 fois en 3 jours, faut que tu t'arrêtes.
At the south of Rue de Charenton is a section that leads directly to the town of Charenton, a town I'll talk about extensively in this video. Well, after stumbling upon friends on my way to this location, I quickly tried to ditch them in an effort to do my job properly. Anyway, there's a path on both sides of the avenue, but they don't always have a physical separator.
And turn left here. Oh wow, we did all of that. Okay.
But it has a neat connection with the path running south of the Bois de Vincennes.
So expect a lot of plastic everywhere. And there's a right arrow, so I can go there directly into my lane.
We go east now and almost outside of Paris in the Bois de Vincennes, where this 2.3 kilometer two-way lane is located. The northern lane of this forest road was turned into this neat cycle path. It is very wide and protected by thick grey granite slabs, as opposed to the yellow granite slabs we had earlier. One thing to note though is the entrance to this path. Well, there is none on the Vincennes side where the path actually ends. It is a great path on its own, but we need the Vincennes side to be done quickly to make it safe on both ends. We go west now to Boulevard des Invalides in the 7th arrondissement. Well, it was pretty much finished the first time I came, except for this part where this building is still being built. So not much to mention that wasn't already present. They're pretty comfortable. It's a shame they're not on the road, but it's okay. A little further south is Rue de Sèvres, or at least a very short portion of it. I'm not gonna lie, like Général de Gaulle, this upgrade is a little bit disappointing. Not that I expected anything grandiose, but this is the bare minimum. You couldn't have done less, and it's on a very short distance. There's protection, but it's quite narrow compared to the most recent redesigns that we have seen on this list. Back to the center of Paris for this final upgrade to Rue Saint-Jacques and Faubourg Saint-Jacques, two successive streets running parallel to Boulevard Saint-Michel with a more residential atmosphere. They are now classified as bike streets or fichtra and make this area so peaceful. Like Rue de Charenton, the local traffic scheme was revised to make it less interesting as a shortcut for cars. A good number of delivery spots remain around shops.
This is crazy.
The path is super comfortable and it was pretty busy when I rode. There's still a small patch that remains to be covered, but other than that, I call this an absolute success. Because you've been very nice and I don't want to waste the footage I've got when I went there, here's a quick list of all the other upgrades I came across. Rue de Vaugirard, Avenue Le Dru-Rollin, Boulevard de l'Hôpital, Rue de Prague, Avenue Léon Gaumont, Avenue de l'Observatoire. There should be a video on a few of those in the future, so subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss them when they come out. A huge thank you to all these associations and militants who actually help things move forward with their local mayors and representatives. Nothing could have been done without their help. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked this video. See you in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye.